Hey, what's up there, roulette players? What's going on? Welcome back to Casino Wars, where we test real strategies with different size bankrolls. All right, the first player up. The first player up is going to have an $81,000 bankroll. $81,900. Now, just keep in mind that make sure you check your table limits before you do a strategy like this with this kind of a bankroll. This kind of a bankroll, to be honest, it's probably impossible to do. I don't think any table will allow you to put $81,000 on the table in one time. Yeah, I don't think any table would let you bet a $41,000 bet. So that's how high this can go. So just keep that in mind. And this is just for fun, obviously. This would probably definitely not work in a real casino. So just this bankroll is really only like a one-shot deal. If you can get, you bet the $1,300. If you can win, that's great. You get a big bankroll and then you walk away. However, we're going to play this system out the way it's supposed to be played. But like I said, this would probably not be realistic. $81,900 bankroll. And let's get into it. And let's place the bets. And the bets are... $600 there. $600 there. And whoops. And $100 there. Okay, some table limits would probably not even allow you $1,300. So this might be totally unrealistic, but we're going to test it out anyway. So what we're going to do is we're going to spin. That's a 4 black. That's a loss right off the gate. So we're going to rebet. We're going to double. And we're going to spin. That's an 11 black. I believe that's a win, but it's only a $1,000 win. So we didn't even make our money back yet. So with that, you got to rebet and spin. You got to get 2 wins in a row on the double. That's a 12 red. That is another win. So now we go back to base, rebet, and we go back to base, which is $1,300. And what are we looking to get? $4,095. And that is $2,000. Let's just get to $2,000. All right, that's $2,050 for the. All we gotta do is get to $2,050 to set our stop loss. All right, that's an 18 red. That is a $500 win. So we're gonna rebet and spin. All right, that is another win. All right, rebet, spin. We're almost at our $2,000 goal. That's a 33 black. That's another win. All right, let's see where we're at. We're gonna rebet and spin. We are at 2,200, so we are at our stop limit, and we're not gonna let ourselves lose more than 1,100. Okay, so that's a win. So rebet and spin. We're not going to let ourselves lose more than 1,100. So basically the next loss, we probably will take it away. That is a loss. And I think we're going to take our money and run. We are. So the first player did a good $1,400. Okay. And that's what he walked away with. All right. And we're going to go down to the next player. Okay, the next player is going to have a $20,475 bankroll, and he's gonna be his goal is 2050 for 25%, but he's going to try to make a 1025. Once he's there, then he will reevaluate, and he won't let himself lose more than $515. Okay. So let's go ahead and place the bets. Now yesterday this guy lost his bankroll, so let's see how he does here. All right, that's a 7. All right, we have something wrong with the system, but that's okay. It is a loss, so we're gonna rebet. We're gonna double. This might not have a ball on it for the entire time, but that's okay. At least we know it's a 34. That's another loss. So now we're gonna rebet. We're gonna double, and we're gonna spin again. Table maxes probably wouldn't let you do this, go up this high. 27. Okay, now we need two wins in order to be back in session profit, I believe. Yeah. Spin. All right, we need another win of $500. That's a 32 red. That's a win. Okay, we're back in session profit, which means we can go back to base. Which is 325. All right, so we're going to go ahead and spin. Sorry for the no ball on this game, but that's okay. That's a 29. At least we see the win. All right, that's a $125 win. So we're just going to rebet and spin. What's he looking to get to? He's looking to get to 1,025 for his evaluation point. That's a 4. That's a loss. So he's going to rebet. He's going to double. And he's going to spin. He needs 2 in a row to get back into profit. It's a 26 black. All right, that's a $250 win. So he's going to go twice. He's going to try to get it twice. Being that we're doubling, we want to get 2 in a row. That's a 12 red. That's a win. Perfect. All right, so now we're going to rebet. Now we're going to go back to base level at 325 and spin. All right, he's up $325 now. That's a 23 red. That's a win. All right, so he's just going to rebet and spin. And we're looking to get to 1,025. That's a 5 red. That's another win. Rebet and spin. All right. All right, that's a 20 black. I believe that's a win. It is. So we're just going to rebet and spin. All right, he's at 700. Remember, you can set your evaluation point anytime you want. All right, let's see if we can get 2 in a row at this level. That's a 33 black. All right, that is a win. So let's go for one more. Rebet and spin. That's a 17 black. That is a win. All right, so now we're going to go back to base level. And spin. We're at 875 now. We're just looking to get to 1,025. That's a 32 red. That's a win. So we're going to rebet and spin. Just looking for another win. One more win and we can reevaluate, and that's where we want. Okay, so now our goal is to, let's see if we can make it to 2,050 without losing $515. So we're going to rebet and spin. So we're going to just keep going until we lose. 19 red. All right, that is a loss. So, with that being said, it's 800. If we bet again, we'll be doubling that. So we're gonna stay there, and we're gonna take our $800. Okay, hopefully we'll get our bull back. And the next player is going to have $10 chips, and they are going to have an $8,190 bankroll, and they are going to be playing $10 chips. So let's go ahead and place the bets. All right, and it's going to be a total of $130 bet. Let's go ahead and spin. The best choice for this game would probably be $5 units, and we'll show you that the next player. But that was a $50 win, so we're gonna rebet and spin, and he's looking to get to $1,230 is his goal, but $615. Let's just see if we can get to $615 at first. Rebet and spin. Let's just make it to $615 and reevaluate. That's a 21 red. All right, that's another win. Rebet, spin. You could take your money anytime you want and leave. That's the great thing about this system. I'm showing you everything, but the best thing to do is leave when you're ahead and just go walk away. Don't worry about getting that 25% goal, but that's my goal. You could set those goals for a lot less if you want. And that's a 9. That's another win. Rebet, spin. And this is only a 15% increase on his bankroll that he's trying to get. Okay, and that's another win. Let's rebet and spin. All right, so far so good. Smooth sailing with this guy. But let's not jinx it like I just did. Okay, so now we're going to rebet. We're going to double it, and we're going to try to get 2 wins. Try to get 2 wins. And that's 1. All right, let's get another one. Rebet and spin. Let's get another one so we'll be above our session profit. It's a 29 black. That's a win. That's good. Now we're going to go back to base level. $10 probably wouldn't be a bad way to play, but I think definitely playing, that's a loss. I definitely think playing with $5 units is the best bet, and that will be what I'll be showing next. All right, and let's go ahead and spin. Unless you really want to be a low roller, and you could do low rolling, and you can do, okay, we're going to rebet, we're going to double that. All right, and we're going to go ahead and spin on this. Unless you really don't have a big enough bankroll, you could always go with dollar units, and that's good too. That's a 0. That's good in this game. That's a $200 win. Let's see if we can get 2 in a row. And 2 in a row will bring us up to 380. So we will be back in session profit if this is a win, and it is. Okay, so let's rebet. Now we can back it up again. Go back to base. And spin. That's a 16 red. All right, that's a loss. So we're going to rebet. We're going to double. And let's see if we can get 2 wins in a row. That'll bring us up to 450 if we do, and that's 1. So we're up to 350. 1 more and we'll be up to 450, and that'd be definitely session profit. So let's try to get 2 in a row. That's a 24 black. That's another win. We are back in session profit. So let's go back to base, play safe. and spin. All right, we're up 450 now. That is a 28 black. That's a loss. Okay, so we're looking to get up to 615. So we're going to rebet. We're going to double. And we're going to spin and try to get 2 in a row. That'll bring us up to 520. If we get 2 in a row, that's a 31 black. That's a loss, I believe it is. So we're just going to rebet. We're going to double. And we're going to spin. This will bring us up to 560 if we win 2 in a row. That's 1. Rebet and spin. This will bring us up to 560. Or 460, I'm sorry. 35. Okay, that's a win. So let's play it safe and let's go back to base, even though we're not in session profit, but good enough. And spin. All right, we're back at 460. See if we can get a win here. That's a 7 red. It's a loss though. So we're going to rebet. We're going to double. We're going to spin. Let's see if we can get 2 in a row. This will bring us up to 530. We'll be back in session profit. If we win 2 in a row, that's 1. Rebet. Spin. We need 1 more win. That'll bring us up to 530. 14 red. All right, that's a win. Good. Let's go back to base. Let's play it safe. All right, it's spin. We're up to $530 now. That's a 20. That is a win. So that's a $50 win. So we're going to rebet and spin. We need 1 more win, and we should be where we need to be. It's a 33 black. That's a win. All right, I think we're a session profit. So now at this point, our next loss, we will quit. Yep, we're past 615. All right, that's an 18 red. All right, that's a win. So let's just rebet and spin. All right, that's a 3 red. All right, that's a win. So let's just rebet and spin. All right, we're at 730. That's a 3. That's another win. We just need to get to $1,230. We're trying to get to $1,230. Rebet and spin. $27 red. That's a win. All right, rebet and spin. That's a 36 red. That's a win. All right. So we're going to rebet and spin. All right, we're at 880. That's a 29 black. That's another win. Awesome. Rebet and spin. We're at $930. We're almost at our $1,230 goal. That's a 22 black. However, that's a loss. So if we bet another $260, we're not gonna do it though. We're gonna take our winnings and we're gonna take our $800. Okay, our next player is going to have a $4,095 bankroll. He's going to be going with $5 units. So let's go ahead and place the bets. Okay, and he is going to look for, he's looking to make $440, but his ultimate goal is $880, but he's going to try to make $440, okay? And let's go ahead and spin. Once he makes that $440, then it's just, once he loses once, that's it. All right, that's a $25 win, so let's rebet and spin. It's a 9 red. All right, that's another win. Rebet and spin. All right, let's see if we can get to his $440. Okay, that's a 1. That's a loss. So we're going to rebet. We're going to double. And we're going to spin and see if we can get 2 in a row. That's an 18 red. All right, that's 1. See if we can get another one. Rebet and spin. That's a 4 black. That's a loss. All right, so he's going to rebet. He's going to double. And he's going to spin. See if we can get 2 in a row now. It's a 26 black. All right, that's a $100 win. So he's going to rebet and spin. See if he can get another $100 win to be back in session profit. That's a 30 red. That's a win. That's good. So now he can go back to base. $65. Sorry about that. $65 and spin. That's a 32 red. All right, that's a win. So let's rebet and spin. That's a 33. That's another win. So rebet and spin. Looking to make $440. That's a 3 red. That's a win. Rebet and spin. It looks like we're going to be halfway there now. So we're going to rebet and spin. You could stop anytime you want. Just remember that. You don't have to continue with the whole system. So we're going to rebet and spins. But so far, so good. We're doing good. All right, that's a 4. That's a loss, though. So now we got to try to get 2 in a row at a double. Spin. See if we can get 2 in a row. That's a 10 black. It's a loss. So we got to rebet, double. And same thing. See if we can get 2 in a row. I think this will be $200 if we get 2 in a row. That's a 32 red. That's 1 win. So if we get another win, we get another 100. And we'll be up 235, which will put us back in session profit, or at least close to it. That's an 11. That's a good one. So we're going to rebet, and we're going to go back to base. We're going to play it safe. And oops, no, that's not base. Not for this dollar amount. Okay, that's it. Okay, and spin. It's a 23. All right, that's a win of 25. So we're going to rebet and spin. All right, that's a 19 red. That's a win. Oh, that's a loss, sorry. That's a loss. So we're going to rebet. We're going to double. We're going to try to get 2 in a row. That'll be $100 more, so we'll be at $295 if we win the 2 in a row. 15 black. That's a win. We need 1 more win, and we can go back to base and spin, and we'll be up 270. That's 24 black. That's a win. All right, let's go ahead and go back to base. Play it safe and spin. We're up 295. We're looking to get to, that's a good one. That's a double zero. That's a $25 win. So we're going to rebet and spin. All right, we just need another $120. That's a 1. That's a loss though. So we're going to rebet. We're going to double, and we're going to try to get 2 in a row. That's a 3 red. That's a win. Let's go for 1 more at this base level and rebet and spin. and we get a win here, we'll be at 355. That's a 27 red. That's a win. Okay, so we're going to rebet, and we're going to go back to base level and spin. We're at 355. That's a 32 red. That's a win. So we're going to rebet and spin. We're at 380. We just need to get the 440. That's a 0. That's a good one on this one. All right, we're over $400 now. Rebet and spin. Let's see if we can get 2 more wins, and then we don't have to worry about this anymore. 24 black. That's a win. 1 more win, and we won't have to worry about losing money. 34 red. I believe that's a loss. It is. So we're going to rebet, and we're going to double, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to try for 2 wins in a row. That's a 1. That's a loss, though. So we're going to rebet. We're going to double. And we're going to still try to get 2 in a row. So 21 red. All right, that's a win. 1 more win, and we go back to base, and we'll be at 435 if we win. That's a 19. That's a loss, though. All right, so we're going to rebet. Oh boy, we're going to double again and spin. That's a 33 black. That's a win. $200 win. So we just get 1 more of those, and then we'll be at 475. This will bring us to 475 if it's a win, and it is. So now we're at a point where we're going to go back to base, and our next loss, we're going to walk away. Going back to 65. Whoops. 65, and we are going to spin, and this will be our last. Yep. So we're past 475, so we're just going to take the wins and see how many wins we can get before we lose. Okay, so rebet, spin. Okay, we're at 500. Actually, we're gonna shoot for $1,230 and see if we can reach that point. But we're not gonna. On our next load, we got to get it there by just doing the minimum bets. If we don't, then we just quit. It's an 18. All right, that's another win. We'll just take these wins and take them in stride and just keep winning these wins until we lose, and then that's it. Or, right, that's it. All right, so our bottom line on that one was $485. We'll take that win. Okay, we're down to our final player. Our final player has a $1,651 bankroll. He's got 1 step higher than the other levels. He can go 1 step higher because he's got a $1,651 bankroll, and he's going for $415. However, he's just let's just try to make it to 210 first. All right, and let's go ahead and place the bets. Spin. Okay, that's 24 black. That's a win. $5 win. Rebet and spin. Take $5 at a time and get to 210. All right, that's a 28 black. All right, that's a loss though, so we're gonna rebet. We're gonna double, and we're gonna spin and try to get 2 in a row. That's a 13 black. That's another loss, so we're gonna rebet. We're gonna double, and we're gonna try to get 2 in a row now. That's a 6 black. All right, that's a win. That's a $20 win. So rebet and spin. We're gonna try to get 1 more, so we get in session profit. That's 25 red. That's a loss though. So we're going to rebet, we're going to double, and we're going to spin. Okay, let's see if we can get 2 in a row here. It's an 18 red. That is a win. It's a $40 win. So we're going to rebet and spin. We need 2 of these. 22 black. It's a loss. So we're going to rebet. We're going to double. And we're going to try to get 2 in a row here. That's an 8 black. That's a win. We need 1 more win. Rebet and spin. Yep. We need 1 more to get back in session. Then we'll be in session profit. That's a 33 black. I think that's a loss. No, it's a win. Okay. All right. So we're going to go. Okay. We're going to go back to base of $13. And spin. All right. We're up $30 now. We're just looking to get to 210. Once we get to 210, we can reevaluate. All right. Rebet, spin. Or once we get to 210, then we just, whatever our first loss is, and we take it, and that's it. All right. But we're going to be rebetting here, and we're going to be doubling at this point. And we're going to spin, and we're going to try to get 2 in a row to get back in profit. That's a 7 red. That's a loss though, so we're going to rebet. We're going to double and spin. Let's see if we can get 2 in a row here. That's a 30 red. All right, let's get 1 more win. Rebet and spin. Get back in session profit. That's a 20. That is a win. So we're at $36 now. We are in a session profit. So we're going to rebet. We're going to break it down, and we're going to go back to 13. And spin. All right, we're up 36 now. It's a 32 red. All right, that's a win. $5. Rebet. Spin. Let's just get $5 in a row. Let's get $5 all the way there. It's a 13 though. That is a loss. So we're going to rebet. We're going to double, and we're going to spin. We're going to try to get 2 in a row. That's a 33 black. That's a win. Let's get 1 more. Rebet and spin, and then we'll be at $48, and we'll be in session profit if we get the win, but we got a loss. So we're going to rebet, and we're going to double, and we're going to spin. Like I said, we got a $1,651 bankroll. We're okay. That's a 12. That's a win. That's a $20 win. Rebet, spin. We're going to try to get 1 more. That's a 26 black. All right, we got the win. All right, so we should be back in session profit. So what we're going to do is we're just going to bring it back to base of 13. And spin. We're up 52 now. We're looking to get to 210 to reevaluate. All right, that's a 24. That is a $5 win. Rebet and spin. That's a 21 red. All right, that's a win. So we're going to rebet and spin. We're at 62 now. That's a 34 red. All right, that's a loss. So we're going to rebet, and we are going to double, and we're going to see if we can get 2 in a row. $10 each. That'll bring us up to 69. That's a 10. That's a loss though. So we're going to rebet, we're going to double, and we're going to spin. That's a 0. That's a good one in this game. All right. So it's a $20 win. So we're going to rebet and we're going to spin. So we'll have $63 if we get a win here. That's a 28 black, but we lost. So we're going to rebet, we're going to double, and we're going to spin. All right. That's a 22 black. That's another loss. So we're going to rebet, we're going to double, and we're going to spin. All right, we got an $80 win. We need one more, and we'll be back in profit. That's a 24 black. All right, that's an $80 win. We are back in profit. So we're going to go back to base. Stay safe. Never gamble what you can't afford to lose. All the way to $13. There we go. And spin. We're up 47 now. I think we dropped a little bit, but that's okay. That's a 34 red. All right, that's a loss. So we're going to rebet. We're going to double, and we're going to try to get 2 in a row. That's a 6 black. All right, that's a win. So we're going to rebet and spin. Try to get this second win. We'll be at 54. All right, that's a 30 red. That's a win. So let's go back to base. Let's keep it safe. And spin. All right, that'll be 59 if that's a win. It's a loss though. All right, so we're going to rebet, and we're going to double, and we're going to spin. 41, the 29 black. All right, that's a $10 win. Rebet. And we're going to try to get 2 in a row. So let's try to get the second one. That's a 28 black. It's a loss. Okay, so we're going to rebet, we're going to double, and we're going to spin. Let's see if we can get 2 in a row. That's a double zero. That's good. So that is a $20 win. So let's see if we can get one more win. We'll be at 65. That's a 25 red. That's a loss though. So we're going to rebet, we're going to double, and we're going to see if we can get 2 in a row. This will be $80 a piece, I believe. 20, that should be $80. No, it's a $40 win. Okay, rebet and spin again, see if we can get 2 in a row. That's a 14 red. All right, that's a win, good. All right, so now we can go back to base. Spin. All right, we're at 73. It's a $15 win. 15, number 15. Rebet, spin. All right. Gotta make it to 210. That's a 36 red. But you can walk away at any time. Rebet, spin. You could walk away at any time. You don't have to play the whole system out. That's a double zero. That is a good one for this game. It's another $5 win. So rebet and spin. It's a 34 red. All right, that's a loss, but that's okay. We're going to rebet. We're going to double. And we're going to spin and see if we can get 2 in a row. It'll take us up to 95 if we get 2 in a row. That's a 14 red. That's a win. One more and we'll be up 9 to 95. Okay, that's a 3. That's a win. All right, so we're at 95 now. So we're going to rebet, and we're going to go back to base and spin. We get this, we'll be at 100. All right, that's a loss though. All right, so we're going to go ahead and rebet, and we're going to double, and we're going to see if we can get 2 in a row and get to 102 if we do it. It's a 6 black. That's a win. So one more win and we'll be at 102. That's a 10 black. That's a loss though. All right, so we're going to rebet. We're going to go ahead and double, and we are going to spin and see if we can get, and see if we can get 2 in a row. See if we can get 2 in a row, and this will give us 66, 86. That's a $20, so that'd be 86.96, 206. We'll be back in session profit. If we do this, we'll be at $106, which will definitely be session profit. That's an 18 red. That is a win. All right, so we're going to rebet, and we're going to go back to base, play it safe, and spin. That's a 25 red. That's a loss. So we're going to rebet, we're going to double, and we're going to spin. This will bring us up to 113 if we get 2 wins in a row. That's our first one. Rebet and spin. This will bring us up to 113, and then we can go back. We're actually at session profit now, but let's 32. That's a win. So let's rebet. Let's go back to base and spin. All right, that's $113 now. We're looking, all we need is another 100. That's 28 black. That is a loss though. So we're gonna rebet. We're gonna double. And we're going to try to get 2 in a row and get to 120. That's a 13 black. That's a loss though. So we're going to rebet, we're going to double, and we're going to spin. Get 2 in a row. That's an 18 red. That's a win. $20. Rebet and spin. So bring us up to 114. If we get the win, that's a 9. We got the win. So we're going to rebet, and we're going to go back to base. We should be at 119. All right, and spin a 114. All right, that's okay. 7 red. That's a loss. All right, so we're going to go ahead and rebet. And we're going to double this, and we're going to try to get 2 in a row and get us to 121. That's a 1 though. That's a loss. That's not good. Okay. So we're going to rebet, and we're going to double, and we're going to spin and try to get back up to 95, 105, 115. We'll try to get back up to 115. That's 1. And 1 more win, and we'll be back up to 115. If we get 1 more win. That's a 23 red. I believe that's a win. We'll back up to 115. We are going to go back to base and spin. All right, we're back at base 115. That's a 3 red. That is a win. We're up to 120. We just need $90 more. So rebet and spin. All right, that's a 10 black. All right, that's a loss though. So we're going to rebet, and we're going to double, and we're going to try to get 2 in a row. And that'll get us to 127. It's a 33 black. That's a win. And we're going to do 1 more. Let's get 1 more win. spin. Let's get one more win. That's a 34 red. All right, that's a loss, so we're gonna rebet, we're gonna double, and we're gonna go ahead and spin. All right, we need 2 wins. It's a 13 black. That's a loss though. So we're gonna rebet, we're gonna double, and we're gonna spin. It'll be 40, 39, 49, 59, 69, 79. That's a loss though. 79, yeah, rebet. Let's double again and spin. 208. We only have 2 more to be able to, okay, that's a win, thank goodness. Rebet and spin. Let's get a second win. And that'll bring us up to 95. That'll bring us up to 100, I think. That's a loss though. So we're gonna rebet, we're gonna double, and let's spin. We're down $193. That's a 13 black. That's another loss. So we're gonna rebet, we're gonna double. And I think this is our last double. It is our last double. This is it. If we lose this, we walk away. All right, let's spin. Let's hope to get the win. And let's hope to get 2 wins in a row. That's a 16 red. That's a loss. All right, so for the first time this session, we lost. And we did lose $1,441 of our $1,651 bankroll. So we didn't lose our entire bankroll, so that's good. Win more, lose less. That's the saying, that's my motto. All right, so out of the 5 players, 4 of them made money, and only the last one lost. And we were up to $120. And like I said, you could have walked at any time. As soon as you see yourself going downhill, hey, take advantage and get out while you can, while you're ahead. Just get out. We were down, I remember the last thing, I remember we were like $72 or something, and we were placing that next bet. We could have just said, you know what, let's not place that bet. And we could have sacrificed, we could have savaged this. All right, see, that next spin would have been a 34, which would have been a loss. So that would have really killed us if our bankroll was higher. If we had a higher bankroll, we would have lost a lot more money. But all right, let me know what you think below. Don't forget to like, don't forget to share, don't forget to hit that notification bell so you never miss another roulette spin. And please, if you have a strategy that you'd like me to test out on my channel, please write me at lvcasino.wars@gmail.com. All right, well, you guys have a great day, and take care.